What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online jam league? JamiroFan 2000 here with yet another episode of JamiroFan Talks About. For the initiated of the series of nearly 9 years here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel, this has been my periodic discussion series looking at the past, present, and future of Jamiroquai and their now over 32 years of musical and influential making. Now, this episode of JamiroFan Talks About is going to be a little bit somber because today, April 11th of 2025, we are looking at the 8th anniversary, unfortunate anniversary of the passing of one of the cornerstone band members of Jamiroquai, and of course I'm talking about Toby Smith. 8 years ago, right at the beginning of Jamiroquai's 8th album era of Automaton, with all the good stuff happening with that album, the unfortunate news came out of Toby Smith's passing, which would later on turn out, according to the media, to be from complications from cancer. That was a very, very hard day for the online family, and to see all these years go by, over the years of the passing of Toby, it's been a very, very hard time sometimes to know that he's not here on this planet anymore. So I decided to record a special episode of JamiroFan Talks About to look back on the musical and influential legacy of Toby Smith, who, like I said, was a major cornerstone of the Jamley, and his career was very, very wide outside of this time with Jamiroquai. He turned into one of the most consummate, professional, and amazing upcoming music producers that the music industry had ever seen, with his work with the likes of Jamie Scott and the Hoosiers. But nonetheless, him and Jay were one of the best songwriting teams, I would believe, of their generation. And I just so happen to have written recently, at the beginning of my 12th resource guide information series on Instagram, I happened to write a Jamiditorial called The Blue-Eyed Quicksilver Through the Sunglasses, a tragic loss and musical legacy of the late Toby Smith. So if anybody in the Jamley has not got a chance to read that write-up or that Jamiditorial I did at the beginning of my 12th project, be sure to give that a read when you can. And also in same relation, I also got the opportunity to, with several members of the Jamley, at least of a OJ or Old Jamley level, got to contribute videos and pictures to a remembrance companion film that was released by his alma mater over in the UK back in 2018. For a concert they did in the memory of Toby Smith, all of his music he had written in Jamiroquai and some of the other artists that he either influenced or produced for during that time. And that film did wait several years before it got the gracious go ahead from the family of Toby Smith to share online. So if you'd like to read that Jamiditorial and watch that tribute film, one is on my Instagram, the other one is on my YouTube channel. I'll be sure to put links to both of those down below of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About for you to check out in your own time. But like I said, it's been 8 years since the passing of Toby Smith, and every passing year of that 8 years just seemed to be very, very hard to rationalize, at least in our reality, that Toby is no longer with us. And looking back on his legacy, he was nothing but, like I said, blue-eyed Quicksilver through the sunglasses. That man was an amazing musician, amazing keyboard player, amazing pianist, amazing composer, and was just in the beginnings of becoming an amazing pop mainstream music producer. Like I said, with his work with the Hoosiers and Jamie Scott and a bunch of other musicians, who just so happened to have been interviewed for that tribute film that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About. But I thought I had to record a JamiroFan Talks About to at least acknowledge this long anniversary of the passing of Toby Smith. And it just happened the day of April 11th, 8 years ago, that I was one of the first people, next to some of the band members of Jamiroquai, who put out tributes, including Stuart Zender and several of his other bandmates of tributes to Stuart. The day that the news came out of his passing, I just had to do a video. I did lose a little bit of my emotion and let my emotions take over, but we all grieved in our own time, and I suggested that everybody take their own time and before doing their tributes to the passing of Toby Smith. But like I said, he was a cornerstone of Jamiroquai's sound for so many years, and then he left Jamiroquai to pursue his musical producing, founding his own studios called Angelic Studios, and helping fortify and make so many other music artists' music so much better, and putting his spark of absolute amazing, never to be replicated ingenuity into that music, and you can really hear it. You go back and listen to the album called "The Trick of Life" by the Hoosiers. That's Toby right there, and you can hear it in Jamiroquai's music. You hear a lot of Toby in all the albums that he wrote, composed, and performed on. So, highly recommended. Everybody take a little time to go back and listen to the artists, the music, and of course the albums that Toby was on. Most definitely in Jamiroquai's 8-album discography, because without, to quote J.K. when he was accepting his award at the BMI Music and Movie Show 2 years back for his lifetime achievement in music, without Toby Smith, which he did dedicate that award to the memory of Toby Smith. Without Toby Smith, there would have never been a Jamiroquai. And even 8 years on, it is hard to continue to live our lives without Toby Smith in our life. But at least we have the music that he contributed to fall back on and to remember his legacy. So that is it for this episode of JamiroFan Talks About. I hope you appreciate this tribute to Toby Smith. But if you like what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, and ding the bell on your YouTube to stay up to date on all these new content coming from the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Hopefully be in a better demeanor. But thank you again all for the support. And Toby Smith, you are still greatly missed, and we will never forget you. And I hope that everybody in the family takes the time to either grieve, remember, or rediscover the magic that Toby Smith brought Jamiroquai and many, many other musical artists on his time on this lovely planet. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. Thank you again for the support, and I'll see you around. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.